Hello, everyone. This is Billy Ballas of Box Seat Banter in our introductory episode here. I just wanted to kind of explain the podcast and the project here before we really get going. It started during spring break. My wife had 2 weeks off, and it was just as this quarantine was getting started. So, normally, one would look forward to having 2 weeks of vacation. You can go travel, do stuff, whatever. But that was not the case this year. As you all know, we were all locked up, cooped up, could not go anywhere. Stores were closed, restaurants were closed, travel was shut down. So she had 2 weeks of sitting at home, doing nothing, being bored. So I decided I would give her some assignments. Give her an assignment each day to accomplish, keep her occupied, maybe do something productive. And so one of the assignments that I thought of was this baseball roster idea that I had seen on Twitter a couple years ago. The idea behind the roster is you pick a Major League Baseball organization. You go back 25 years. So in this case, you go back to 1995. And from 1995 to 2019, you pick one player from that team per year. The rules are you cannot repeat a player. So if you pick the Dodgers, you can only pick Kershaw once. You cannot pick him multiple times. And you get that player for the year that you pick him. So you can't pick a player way past his prime and expect to get prime numbers out of him. No, you get that season of the player. And you have to form a coherent roster. That means you've got to have a 5-man rotation. You've got to have a complete bullpen. You can have a swingman in there, maybe, a guy who can start and relieve. You've got to have all positions filled, and that player has to have played that position. You may have a little bit of leeway in the outfield. You need a backup catcher, a couple infielders on the bench, as well as an outfielder or two. American League teams obviously have a DH as well. So I gave her an assignment to do a Dodger roster following these rules. So as she was doing it, I thought, well, it would be fun to do it myself. So as she did it, I decided to make one as well. And she did a pretty good job on hers. I think mine is slightly better. Maybe you guys can be the judge of that when we get to our Dodger roster breakdown. And after that, she shared her roster and the assignment that I gave her with some people. She's got some family in Philadelphia, and they were geeked up about it. And so I decided I'm going to make a Phillies roster. So I made a Phillies roster. A couple of her cousins made Phillies rosters. And, so I had a Dodger roster and a Phillies roster. I challenged some other friends who are fans of other Major League Baseball teams to make rosters. And as I challenged them, I made them for those teams as well. So pretty soon, I had about 5 or 6 rosters that I had made. And I thought, this is kind of fun. I don't have any baseball to actually watch on TV right now other than classic games from the 80s and 90s and farther back. What am I going to do with my time? I thought it'd be a fun little project to make rosters for every team left. So I went through and I had a spreadsheet where I kept them all, and before too long I had rosters for all 30 organizations. And I thought to myself, well, I put a lot of work into this. I made this nice spreadsheet. I got all their stats. I compared everything. And I really should share this with the world. So I thought, well, everyone's doing it. Why not? So I decided to start a podcast sharing each team. So I will start my podcast here, Box Seat Banter, with my quarter-century rosters for all Major League Baseball teams. I look forward to you joining along in this journey. Once we get through with all 30 teams, I'll have other series and segments and ideas for shows. But the first 30 episodes will be one per team. I look forward to you listening. I will invite a guest each week who has ties to the team that we're doing, whether it be a fan of that team, maybe a fan of a rival team, but somebody who has some insight in that team in some way. And yes, I look forward to this. I hope that everyone enjoys it, and maybe we can spark some insight and discussion. You guys can create rosters as well and share them with me, and I can share the best ones. And we will start next week in the National League East. You can follow me on Twitter. My Twitter is wballas, and of course, follow us at Box Seat Banter. You can also follow us on Instagram at Box Seat Banter, and check the website boxseatbanter.com. That'll have information on all future episodes, and we look forward to that. As for now, this is Billy Ballas of Box Seat Banter signing off.